friends on that team. It's going to be interesting.
Let's talk about this. Let's get into this game, Zaf.
Get into the game.
All right. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. This is game one of the North American, this is what, quarterfinals, I believe now.
Sure.
Top 8? Yeah, that sounds right.
That sounds good.
As we're looking at Buenos Noches on the north side of North, spawning in to square off against QQ7 to the south. Zaf, what is Buenos Noches fielding today?
So, Buenos Noches is bringing a Yamato Kremlin for their battleships, Venezia, double Napolis, Stalingrad, daring Khabarovsk, and a Yu Yang, sir. So they are bringing all the tricks out here.
Indeed. Very curious.
Team Red.
From the south spawn, Team Red, QQ7 fielding Montana and Ohio. Lots America. Oh, Zaf. Polarberg and a Minotaur. I'm so excited to see how this works out.
You should have seen when Raptor saw Polarberg in the lineup.
Yes, Minotaur.
Saw too many.
It has to be a Minotaur, isn't it? Yes, it's a Minotaur.
It's a Minotaur.
Super excited for that. Megazao and a Plymouth, double Napoli, that's Maverick and Vermicelli, and then rounding things out with Daring and double Shimakaze. Now, Zaf, can you advise us who's wielding what Shimakaze torpedo?
So, unfortunately, I can't. When I see it, it's only for a few seconds at the start of the match. And
Got it.
I'm not. I got to train myself to look.
Okay, no worries. It is what it is. We'll survive.
We'll figure it out. So I want to mention real quickly about Buenos Noches' lineup here, right? So double Napoli. We were talking earlier about Napoli showing its competitive, teeth and being banned in the previous engagement, right? Our first set. Here we get to see two of them. We get to see what two of them can do, possibly together. Are they together? Yes, they are. And then we've got a Khabarovsk, which we only saw once, I think, so far this tournament. And then we've got, of course, Yu Yang, which is going to be radar.
Now, I was going to say that is a radar Yang.
Yes.
So yeah, this will be very, very interesting. So Buenos Noches, and we saw them. Oh, what map was it? We saw them do this. We saw them do this on Sleeping Giant. The one game we saw Buenos Noches, they took almost this exact setup: the radar Yang, the Napoli, the Venezia, and their goal. What they did on Sleeping Giant was to run the Yu Yang forward, pick out the destroyers quickly as possible, and they literally just assassinated this poor guy. It was a Z-52 in seconds.
Absolutely. I actually saw that today with an EU team as well. Did the same exact thing. Crash Zone Alpha. Went all the way down around, and wow, good.
Well coordinated play, but Augur now turning into this torpedo salvo from Special K's Shimakaze. See. Has he spotted them yet? He has. He's slowing down to turn in. He's going to be okay. No, he'll be fine. He's good. He's good. She settles quick. It's still a gearing hull. She settles quick.
Okay, so K confirmed. I believe that was 12-kilometer torpedo.
Those because those ran out. So those will be 12. So K running the 12s here over on the A flank. He bags A very quickly as 007 starts moving out to an early lead. Now. QQ7, excuse me, thank you, I got that wrong. So, QQ7, if you look at the overall tactical map, they have 7 ships on the western half of the map. From the 5 line to the west, 7 ships. They have only a Shimakaze and a Montana over south of sea, and you're seeing a very similar setup on Buenos Noches, very heavy to the western side of the map, and very little on the
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I think both teams have played enough clan battles to just not want to mess at sea, because it takes forever, it's boring, and it turns into, who can attrition out somebody the quickest. So I agree with both teams just basically saying, to hell with this, we'll put a token force, and let's do something else. But so far, aside from cap control.
Here comes the radar from Polar, putting his first radar up, catching Augur out just a little bit. Special K putting some smoke up for Polar, allowing him to sneak up close, getting some good damage into Augur, pushing him back off the cap. Augur counter-radaring now. K spotted, and now let's see what kind of damage the Napolis and Venezias can do.
Polar just took a deep-water torpedo, and I want to comment how Special K saw that deep-water torpedo. Was like, whatever.
Whatever. He didn't care. Those aren't going to hurt him.
Nope.
All kinds of shells looking for K, but so far nothing's really connected. He's probably taking more damage from the secondaries. Nothing doing. K sneaks away, having lost only a few thousand HP. Augur, on the other hand, with a big loss there, down below half already. 5 minutes in.
Well, and then look at how
he takes the foul.
Here's the thing about these torpedoes, guys. Not just the damage, it's also the fact that Venezia and Napoli have been split from each other now. And that causes a bigger problem. What's the 0-4?
Rainmaker's Kremlin just took a blind shot into the smoke and hit Polarberg for at least one Citadel, if not two.
Well, now we got some more blind shells coming in for Polar as well.
Polar's realizing, in fact, Polar's lit now. They're continuing to push his smoke. He's lit on the surface. Yeah, he's well inside his surface detection now as the Napolis continue to push him.
Yeah, here comes all the fire.
Yeah, he's going right here. Wow. What a well-executed assassination of the Minotaur that was.
6 minutes in the game. He survived there.
Goodness gracious.
And Rainmaker dodging those 2 torpedoes right there.
All of the action here along the 1-2 line early. We're barely 6 minutes in. Already, Buenos Noches having a very aggressive position onto the QQ7 side of the map. But it's cost them a lot. These Napolis, especially Jaime, getting very low. Well, I suppose Manco's okay. It's really Jaime that's getting quite low.
So, and the thing is, okay, so you can see what happened. Manco was able to catch up with Jaime. Smoke. Jaime is now going into kite away position.
Yep, he's got to back out of there.
And I would imagine he's going to just play the backfield behind the Venezia.
As he comes out of the smoke, he's lit. I think the Venezia smoke is going to try and pick him up, but he's going to take at least one of these Ohio salvos.
Here comes.
Yeah, they're looking for Jaime. They're not even shooting at Tattoo's Venezia. Jaime takes a couple more salvos, down to 5K, but now he's hitting the Venezia smoke.
Some shells came in and hit Tattoo. Interesting. Somalia's best, by the way, is under 300 hit points. We've missed all that going on at sea, unfortunately.
Indeed, and we also missed the daring. Look at where Big Boy is compared to Jason's Stalingrad. In fact,
they're proxy spotted.
Big Boy's going for the kill right now.
Right. Another possible assassination.
Nope. Jason had AP in the barrel.
He did.
If he had HE, he might have been able to break the torpedoes. We'll never know. But all of these conga line torpedoes start to connect. Oh, Big Boy's getting hammered for this. They need this trade. They're going to get it.
Wow.
Nope. Big Boy. Nope. They catch him. They get him.
There's the trade.
There's the trade. So they take the B in Stalingrad out of the middle of the board, but it costs them a daring. As QQ7 now on about a 60-ish point lead, but the gap closing because BN owns A and C.
I'd say that's probably an okay trade. The big thing about that Stalingrad is it was holding position up there. It was keeping QQ7 back from that general area.
Yeah, I'm not convinced it's a bad trade, but it certainly doesn't feel like a great one if you're BN because they just took your only radar. Well, you're not your only radar. The Yang has radar, but they took your big radar off the board.
Deep water torpedoes coming on Ohio. Might take one if they've got range. They do.
Yeah, that's Moose's Ohio down here in between south of A and B.
Yep.
And he doesn't take a flood, surprisingly. No, his DCP. He DCP'd. He DCP'd and healed right away.
Yep. Meanwhile, Yamato, Don Pato, taking advantage of this opportunity, getting a shot in. Yeah.
Decent hit. Not catastrophic, but decent.
Yeah.
Now, I want to let's spend a little time looking at C, Zath, because QQ basically sent, let's be honest, nobody over here. I mean, like, just two.
Look at K. 2.
Whoa! How did he get caught out?
He got tripwire radared by the UE. It looks like.
No. That's a huge loss for QQ7. Now they're down 2 ships.
Yep.
This big BN push for the A flank has worked out beautifully. The Napoli Venezia Yang pairing. When they get Megazow's Plymouth.
Megazow.
Oh, goodness gracious. It's all kind of falling apart here for QQ7 in game 1. It looked good early. The early Minotaur raid on Augur, but BN just kept executing their plan.
Yeah, and it was a great plan at that.
Tattoo's going to take one of these? No, he dodges all the torpedoes, just barely.
Yeah, here comes, we're seeing a replay right now, and I'm not exactly sure what that replay is of. Because so much went down over on this side.
Whole lot going on here. BN now puts the Haberovs, that's nav into the B cap. Up 3 ships, almost up over, getting close and in on 250 points here. So it's only a matter of time, I think. I mean, if you're QQ7, where do you try to get back into this game? It ain't gonna be A.
No, here comes the big downtown shot on the Plymouth. Almost full health to no health in that shot. Wow, that's a clip moment right there. And yeah, I mean, there's really no way back. I mean, Somalia's best is the only destroyer available, and he's running 12s, by the way, and it doesn't matter, right? Look at Wolfman in the Montana. Look at Moose in the Ohio. All right, we're just hitting W.
Right.
We're gonna try to make something happen. But I mean, they know. Let's talk quickly about what happened. Let's start figuring this out for the next battle, because this one is pretty much probably not gonna go.
Yeah, I think what impresses me most about how BN's kind of handled this game is, they went in against all of these cruisers, all this radar, right? The Minotaur, the Plymouth, like they're bringing this. Plymouth can't stealth radar quite, but Minotaur absolutely can.
Yeah.
Fronted by some stealthy destroyers, able to pick out your destroyers, and they really haven't let it phase them all that much.
Right.
They've still made it work.
Yeah, they've done a fantastic job, and I think a big part of that was catching ships in positions that they're not used to being caught.
Yeah. Yeah, and BN doing an excellent job, and I think we highlighted at the time, but I want to say it again, pulling those ships, the vulnerable ships off of their push, back away from the push, back away from the enemy as quick as they could.
Well, yeah.
Before, Jaime stuck away on 5,000 HP because they literally chain smoked him out of there.
Looking for him. Oh, deep water's coming in.
Yep.
But you're right, and here's the thing, and I commented about those torpedoes from K splitting them up, which it did. It split the Venezia from the Napoli.
Yeah.
A less competitive team or a less practiced team might have broken right there, right? There might have been a little bit of panic amongst those players, and they might have started to scatter a little bit, and because of that, they're not able to recover. But hands off to the BN team for recognizing we're going to be okay. We just need to hold. We'll be fine.
Yep. Let's make a small adaptation and then get on with executing our plan.
That's right.
QQ7 is going to pick up C. It's going to take them a little longer than they would prefer because Wolfman's getting continually reset by Chris's daring there as the daring retreats to the north. But so eventually Somalia will rack up all those cap points and flip that cap over.
There it is. A Moose is going down. There he goes. Dampato's Yamato, who pretty much just dropped anchor and went fishing all game.
Yeah.
He's, takes him down. Another kill.
That's what Yamato does. Find an optimal firing position and just keep throwing shells. Eventually, you're going to do really, really nasty things.
The nice thing about the training room, Raptor, those shells are free.
That's right. That's right. They're expensive otherwise, aren't they?
They are. Verm takes a torpedo.
Oh. Jaime getting the kill, but Rainmaker's Kremlin moving up to put the pressure on there. Maverick now in close quarters combat here with the Kremlin. Time ticking away. 40 seconds on the timer, but BN's going to win this game. There's just no way for QQ7 to get back into this.
Nope.
They may kill this Kremlin. That one might get them a time extension, I think.
Here's the torpedoes.
But Maverick's going to give up a whole chunk of his health just to get this position. He needs to be putting AP into the side of this ship. I'm not seeing it.
Where is it?
His turrets weren't ready.
What?
His rear turret was looking the other way, and he never... Oh, and he takes the Citadel right there at the end in the butt.
From the butt turret.
From the butt turret into the butt of his ship. Not a flawless victory, but certainly a well-executed game plan. And I think it speaks to the skill of both teams that, we saw BN execute a very similar kind of, hey, let's catch a destroyer and assassinate him. We saw that.
Yeah.
We had an idea of what to expect there.
Yeah.
And then they attempted that here, and you know what? It didn't work.
No.
It literally didn't work. Special K was like, nah, I'm not worried about this. He took, 2,000-3,000 damage, sailed away, life went on. Where in the meantime, the opposing destroyer, Augur's Yu Yang, takes a tremendous amount of damage on the back of that Minotaur radar.
Right.
And then BN was like, well, that didn't work. All right, plan B. And yet they were able to they kept pushing, they moved up, they pressured the Minnow, they got him out. I still wish I had seen how they caught K, but yikes, what a well-executed game from Buenos Noches.
Yeah, that was tripwire radar from the Yu Yang.
Okay, so they had him out there waiting for K to just barely push too far.
Yes.
And then they caught him out.
When K went down, he was 5.8 kilometers-ish from the Yu Yang.
There you go.
You go. Smoke didn't matter.
Yep.
Go on. Bye.
Yep. All right, guys. Well, game one of the books. Let's throw it back to the studio. We'll see you guys again in a minute for game two.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for some verbal vomit as we get to game two of Buenos Noches versus QQ7. Now,
What?
yeah, what are we looking at? Raptor, You get to talk about this. Have fun, sir.
What am I looking at? All right, well, okay, we'll start at the top. Hey, look, Buenos Noches brought 2 battleships. That's not all that surprising. They brought a couple of Ohios. That seems reasonable. After that, my brain just breaks.
Nope, it seems reasonable.
So there are now 7 Buenos Noches destroyers on the board, ladies and gentlemen. We're looking at Shimakaze, W Yang, and not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 Harugamos.
Well, I mean, just add Harugamo.
Yeah, just more Harugamo is what we need, and I'm forced to wonder, Zaf.
Yes.
If any of these are legendary or unique upgrade, excuse me, Harugamo.
Well, that unique upgrade, of course, it adds the duration of the smoke generator, allowing for almost 2 full grid squares. No, 1 full grid square worth of smoke, which is
Well, before we speculate, talking about the QQ7 lineup, what do we got?
Let's talk about QQ7, of course. They also have 2 battleships, Raptor.
They do.
They have an Ohio and a Kremlin. Now, for cruisers, they're choosing Des Moines, Double Napoli, and Stalingrad. So I wonder if they kind of looked back at that last battle and said, maybe we shouldn't bring such squishy cruisers this time around.
Fair. And honestly, the Double Napoli, they did that last game. That worked out okay.
Yeah.
But the Stalingrad and the Des Moines are definitely changes.
Meanwhile, for destroyers, they have Daring and 2 Shimakaze. Now, all 3 Shimakazes, 12-kilometer torpedoes.
Okay. Well, so Buenos Noches with nothing but destroyers and battleships in the game.
Yes.
Sending a noteworthy number of them down to sea, going for basically an AC split here. Not a single ship on the Buenos Noches team making a play for B. The same cannot be said for QQ7, as Hoodlum's Walrus now working the southwestern corner of the edge of the cap circle there. Jaime Shimakaze drives right into C, opposed by Special K. They are not in detection range quite yet, but Jaime seems pretty aggressive. Well, I don't know, you almost have to wonder if he's waiting. They're about to spot each other. Maybe a few hundred meters difference here.
And you can see
there they are,
yeah.
counter spotted now.
I'm
curious to see.
Sideways. He's getting ready to turn away as soon as he gets.
Yeah,
spotted.
I'm waiting to see if any of his teammates take shots, and only the Ohio taking the shot. The Harumos and the Yu Yang holding fire.
That's smart.
I think it is. I think it sort of makes sense. They don't want to reveal in themselves just yet, and in fact, K's teammates behind him, Polarberg and Megazal, also holding fire.
Yes.
They're going to let these guys pick up the C cap.
Yes. Speaking of caps,
yes,
the Daring went ahead and grabbed B, which we've seen done by other teams on this exact.
Now he's coming south.
Yep.
All right, Zaf, I'm going to put you in the head of the QQ7 team leader, their caller, their team director for a moment.
Okay.
You see this lineup.
Yes.
What is your instruction to your team? How do you approach a game like this?
So, we've played plenty of clan battles with Verm. And
yes.
Verm is most likely their caller.
Probably.
And he most likely said a few choice words when he saw the comp. Now, Special K now is detected and being shot at by multiple ships.
Yep. Now they've opened up on K.
And if I'm the caller for QQ7, I'm telling my people we need kills on destroyers. If a destroyer gets lit, it needs to die immediately. There's no messing around. There's none of that. And you don't change targets. That's the key when you're up against a wolf pack composition like this.
K doing a great job maneuvering to dodge a non-zero number of these shells.
And currently on radar from Augur's Yang.
Augur's Yang radar is up, but also look at Augur's, Augur kind of stopped there. K's now finally dark again. It's about half his HP, but Augur's in a bit of pain here. These torpedoes are going to catch him. He's going to take at least one.
One.
Oh.
Here comes
the second set. He's about to turn into them.
Doesn't matter. He's going to die with the shells, I think.
They can see him. He's going out right here. Wow. Well executed. Receiving that push from Special K. 2 salvos, holding the third, knowing he would have to move and dodge.
Yep.
Landing the torpedoes. That's a big kill for QQ7.
Yep. And
Jaime's getting wrecked right now.
Is now being counter radar or counter.
Yeah, they've got him on Des Moines radar.
Yeah.
He'll be out very, very quickly here. Couple of shells, all it'll take. There it is. Just like that, 5 minutes gone. QQ7's Buenos Noches' all-destroyer lineup kind of already falling apart here.
Yeah, it kind of felt like maybe they got a little complacent with that Yu Yang placement. The last battle, we saw it be very decisive with its use of radar. But this time around, you had mentioned how QQ7 wasn't tipping their hand with those cruisers and stuff where they were.
Nope.
And I think that was the key right there.
I agree. They let those destroyers come closer and closer into that engagement envelope. They could have taken shots at Hami Shimakaze when he was first lit, and they didn't. And it pays off in spades here 2 or 3 minutes later.
So now both Harugumos are just going to have to run away, and Harus aren't really well known for running.
They're okay. They've got their speed boosts up. They'll do okay, but I mean, yeah, they're lacking spotting. You're at a point now where you almost feel like the Ohio's gonna have to spot for these guys. In fact, Jason's gonna have to be frosty. He's got torpedoes coming in.
Yes, he does.
Daring torpedoes. Harugumo doesn't maneuver all that well.
All skill, no luck.
All skill, no luck, ladies and gentlemen.
Interestingly enough, I think if he would have just kept going straight, he probably would have cleared the torpedo. Slowed him down.
I think the last one would have caught him still.
Well, we'll have to talk about that at some other time.
Buenos Noches very much on the back foot. They do own A, but they own nothing else, and their C push has been firmly turned aside here by QQ7.
It looks to me like what Buenos Noches planned to happen up in the A cap worked. I'm saying that just as Nab in the Yu Yang is turning right in front of Somalia's best Shimakaze torpedoes.
Oh, no, are they going to lose another Yang? They are. They're going to lose both Yangs basically to Shimakaze torpedoes, Zath.
Ouch. That hurt.
Nab made a mistake, and I've heard you talk about it before on your channel, right?
Yes.
Turning as a destroyer, turning in front of a battleship, who is a giant torpedo magnet.
Yeah.
You don't know that they're there, but if you turn in front of him, you run the risk of drawing those shots on his behalf.
Oh, and Nab is a bit of a destroyer specialist for Buenos Noches as well. So, you know, for him to do that, you know that he's upset with himself.
Yeah.
Right
now. Some of it is just a little bit of bad luck. It does happen. It does happen. But yeah, very much. I mean, if you're QQ7 now, you don't really have to do much of anything.
Oh, look at K's torpedoes on Chris in the Harugumo. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, that was desync right there.
That was either right between the screws or right underneath them, one or the other. Goodness gracious.
Jeez, Chris lives to take another torpedo later.
Lives to fight another day, but this game is going to draw to a close very quickly at this rate. Overberg now chasing Jason down with his radar active. Jason's lit on the surface with the radar going.
Yep, Chris is trying to light the fire and get the attention on him. Not going to work with QQ7. They're not going to fall for that.
Nope.
But let's have smoke going for Jason in case the radar expires and he can...
But
no.
Probably says no as QQ7 bags kill number 4. BN now stepping onto the B cap. That'll stem the tide a bit, but they're down, what, 500 points and change here. We're barely 8 minutes in.
That's right. And the other thing now, Chris tried to save his teammate dies. Now he doesn't have the smoke factor.
Nope.
So now he gets to say, well, I guess I'm just going to hold down left mouse button and pray.
Seems that way. It looks like he's going to drive to the middle of the B cap and at least hold those points back from Buenos Noches gaining too much. But he's not careful. He might stumble into double Harugumo. That's not a gunfight he can win.
No. It's fun to watch.
For about 4.5 seconds. That's about all it would take. Although at the moment the Harugumos are looking the other way, Don Pato is engaging Wolfman's Ohio.
Yeah, they're letting...
Tattoo is lit now, so he knows somebody there. K smokes immediately and stops right there on the edge of the cap.
That's what K does. Here comes the first shells in.
Yep, Tattoo's going to take some blind shots. Here comes the radar. That's Fermi Stalingrad back there behind the island.
Don Pato doesn't know this. He stopped shooting the Ohio.
Pato's still not even caring. Looking the other way, not taking the shot. Of course, they'd be blind shots into the smoke, of course.
Yeah, but you know, when you've got high DPM like the Harugumo, and you don't have radar, your DPM becomes your radar.
That's true. You just vomit, like you called it French radar, I believe.
Yes, we call it French radar.
Yeah, you just vomit shells into the space, and sooner or later you'll hit something.
Right. To focus on that explosion.
That's right. Tattoo now caught out at point-blank range between a Kremlin and a Stalingrad here in the B cap.
Sounds like
he's going to charge. It does, doesn't it? Oh, he was trying to turn to get his torpedoes into the water, and the Kremlin just had HE loaded and absolutely annihilated him.
Wow.
Wow, indeed. Wow, indeed. 60 seconds now on the game timer. QQ7 is going to be flipping B back as they grab A astern of the the kind of failed Buenos Noches push into the middle of the board.
Yeah, watching on replay as the Ohio gets farmed out by QQ7.
Yeah, it's kind of all over but the crying here.
What a crazy game.
Now, BN does, there we go, BN does bag a kill. They pick up Polarberg. His Des Moines that was down here by the C cap. I'm guessing that was Cap Shivas. Yep, Shivas turned around and went and punched him in the nose. It's a time extension, though. It's not, shouldn't materially impact the result of this game.
No.
QQ7 is absolutely going to force a game 3 here.
Yeah. Well, he did take a sturdier cruiser, and he did still find a way to die.
Well, that's true, but he also lived a lot longer than he did the last game.
That is very true. And it looks like Don Pato and the Harugumo goes down this time.
A bold strategy from Buenos Noches, but QQ7 has all the answers it needs.
It didn't work.
No, it didn't. It didn't work. It's interesting. You know, when we talked about it earlier, we've been watching Buenos Noches off and on now for several years in competitive games. I've never seen them attempt something like this.
Yeah.
Now, maybe they have and I've missed it. I've not seen every single game they've played, but that was unique.
Yeah.
And no, it didn't work. It didn't work. All right, guys. Well, I am fascinated to hear what our commentator couch has to say about this game.
Yeah.
Why don't we go visit them for a minute? We'll see you guys next game.
Oh, you're right. Game 3. That's right. Game 3. And we're going to have to deal with that Oskans because he was banned.
All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get into Game 3 here of this North American quarterfinals match here in for the Warships Spring Championship. Zaf, talk to me about the Buenos Noches lineup as we spawn into Crash Zone Alpha.
Well, Buenos Noches has decided to go with a more standard...
More standard-ish? We'll go with standard-ish. Standard-ish.
Because they still have 2 Harugumos. They still have 2 Yu Yangs. For battleships, they still have a Kremlin. And this time they decided, let's just add a Schlieffen instead. And then they've got their 2 Napolis and a Daring rounds them out for Destroyer.
How curious.
What do we got for QQ7?
All right, QQ7 on the south spawn here, bringing a Schlieffen of their own and a Kremlin. Seems like both teams had similar thoughts there. In fact, Polarberg hasn't even left the spawn yet. I'm wondering if he's present or disconnected. I'm not sure what's going on there. Sure we'll find out soon enough. Cruisers got Des Moines, Plymouth, and Napoli, and 4 destroyers of their own, Gearing, Double Daring, and Special K once again the Shimakaze. Now,
Polar just started moving by the way.
There we go. Now, I'm betting on a map this small, Zaf. I'm betting Special K is running 12-kilometer torps.
Yes, it's running 12s. And they were both running 12s last game. We saw what they were able to do with those 12s.
Oh, nasty.
So
Very nasty.
I think they've decided, yeah, we like these torpedoes.
Both teams sending a Daring to B as we're looking at an all-destroyer push to A from Buenos Noches. This is double Harugumo and Yu Yang. I think, Zaf, is not, as near as I can guess, the intent here is to kind of mimic what they did with the Napoli-Venezia setup. Use the Yang, try to assassinate one opposing destroyer, and then GTFO. That's all I can think of.
Yeah, I mean, that's a very, very strong possibility here. As you Darings in B cap as well. Of course, Megazos Plymouth is there to possibly back up QQ7's Daring.
That could be beneficial here in a moment because Chris doesn't have any support of his own.
Exactly right. But the big question is, can Buenos Noches pull off that assassination you were just describing with basically 4 ships over there at A? I don't know.
Well, BN playing a bit of a long game here. They're taking a very long deployment with the double Napolis and the Schlieffen all the way up to the A line, the northern side of this C cap. We've seen teams make this play before.
Yep.
We've seen it work on Crash Zone Alpha. We've also seen it executed, I'd say misexecuted, and not work out for everybody. So it's all in the execution here, how they pull that off. And we're still probably a couple minutes away from seeing how that develops.
So speaking of execution, really
Somebody
nice
took a
job.
torp.
Yeah. Don Pato took a video in the down south. But I was just going to comment, Megas now popping the radar on Chris, smoking, to try to push him off. Chris doing a nice job of being ready for it, just being on the island, and essentially wasting Megazov's radar, aside from along the depth.
I was going to say, the radar does buy them the cap control, so obviously there's some value attached to that. 4 minutes in, as QQ7 has picked up solid control of B. They had controlled C, but it's contested now. Nab flipping it back the other way, as it looks like BN may pick up A. We'll have to see here. They do manage to push Somalia's gearing off the cap with Augur's radar.
Right, now, Verm is detected. His radar is, his hydro is up, and his radar is
Yeah,
up.
his radar's up now. Augur's definitely radared in here.
Yep.
Oh no, he's turning broadside of these torpedoes again.
Okay.
He'll be okay now. He's turning back. He wanted to go one of the deep water racks on that gap, and he'll be fine. They do pick up A on his notice, and they pick up C there. And Chris moves back into contest B again.
That's right. Meanwhile, over at the C cap, you can see that Buenos Noches is getting ready for their push. They're going to shove all three of these ships, Schlieffen, Napoli, basically the secondary hurt cloud, and they're just going to shove them straight down the 910 line.
They are, and there's pretty much nothing that QQ7 can do to stop it. They've only got 2 ships at all. That's Special K Shima and Mavericks Napoli, and
Chris.
and so you know, they're basically just going to bend, right? The idea is they're going to get ground, but the Schlieffen is about to take a home. No, oh, they ran out of range. I was going to say those torpedoes looked really good on the lead, but they don't have the range. The 12-kilometer torpedo is definitely coming into play right there.
Yeah, looking back at A, Jason just barely dodges another Shimakaze. No, this was a gearing.
Those are gearing torpedoes, yep. All the torpedoes hunting for the destroyer trio here at A. They grab A, but they're going to relinquish it very quickly because, well, it's just, I mean, Buenos Noches simply doesn't have the board stable and the board presence at A to hold that cap for very
I
long.
feel like at this point, you need to give up on that strategy and maybe go support Chris or something, and then just try to, you know, make something happen someplace else.
Well, we're 6 minutes in, and the push now along the top of the map is starting. The Napolis and the Schlieffen now making their turn.
Yes.
But they've still not been detected, or at least they're not detected at the moment. I don't know if they've ever been lit at all this game.
That's a good question. Not sure.
Game's still close. Only 10, 12 points between these two teams, so plenty of time to make this push happen and make something impactful occur over here, but they're going to have to get on it.
And Chris has to get out of here fast. He doesn't realize it probably, but right.
Nope, that hydro on the Schlieffen will absolutely ruin his day.
There it is. There's the hydro.
There's the hydro. He is lit. He is
just outside of range.
He's outside of the hydro range. How is he lit? They must. Oh, I think he and Hoodlum spotted each other on the surface.
Correct.
Yep.
They've smacked each other a couple times already.
Trading some shells now. Chris swapping to the AP. And out trading Hoodlum a little bit right there.
Shells coming in.
And there comes the Kremlin salvo. The Kremlin had backed up to help as well. But Chris now going upside down on HP. He's going to smoke and try to get out of there. This is the right play. They didn't have the support there to sustain his positions.
Yep, Mega's out now radaring Chris.
They don't have him. He's out of range. You have to remember, Plymouth's radar only has like a 9-kilometer range. It's a shorter radar.
Yeah, he's at 9.3.
Yeah.
He got him enough for one salvo, and then that was it.
Cap Shibas' Kremlin now taking a shot at Polarberg Schlieffen. Might get some damage out of that, but nope, nothing doing. As torpedoes now coming in for the daring. His hydro's up. He should be able to dodge those handily.
Now, I'm curious why Don Pato is shooting open water in the Hargumo when he's very low. There you go, Jason now finally starting to shoot. I would think that you'd want your full health ship shooting and being shot at in return.
Well, at the moment, he seems to be trying to play little rudder games, but it's not what Harugumo's good at.
Man takes 2 torpedoes, though, from Jason's Hargumo, so that's probably why he was holding off on shooting. So not bad for torpedo salvo there, but these 3 destroyers, I mean, they kind of have to go.
Yeah, BN trading pretty well, but most of the health losses they've sustained have all been in their destroyer core, and they've got one more than the opposing team.
Right, here we go. Special K coming into contact with all 4 ships. Will he go the way of the Z-52 on May 1?
Well, he is lit now. Both Napolis and all their secondaries chewing away. The Yang radar's got him lit over here on the 10 line. One of the Napoli salvos coming in. That's Jaime in the cap.
Yep.
K's trying to slow down and smoke a bit, trying to break some of this contact.
Doing a nice job of dodging.
He is. He's only taking about 5,000 points, maybe 6,000 points of damage. He is dark again. Napoli shells come in, take a few more thousand, but he actually did pretty well there.
He did. Remember, Napoli's don't have Hydro. The Schlieffen does, though.
Yep. They know now where those remaining forces are, come crashing down the 8-9 line as they're rotating Polarberg Schlieffen back, it looks like. Yep. Or maybe not. He's just kind of lingering here between the A and the B cap. They are bringing Somalia's gearing back.
Well, and K, of course, just hits full W and engine boost as soon as he realizes he's out of the radar, because he knows that he can't stay around there.
Nope. Not with all those ships crashing down on him. Can't sustain that at all.
Nope. Now there's a bit of a fight going on in B again.
Yep. But now that radar that Megazal kind of wasted earlier, biting him in the butt a bit, they're not able to radar Chris, and they're putting on the range anyway.
No.
Just realized how to check it, but yeah.
But still, I kind of feel like these kiting destroyers for Buenos Aires, they have to get their presence someplace, and I mean, I'm not sure.
Halfway mark of the game, and we are now a north-south fight. Both teams roughly oriented in two lines, east to west across the middle of the map. As Buenos Aires' push down the 10 line continues. Schlieffen, that's Rainmaker, is actually retreating and running back to the north. I'm not sure what that's about, Zath. I think he's trying to cut into the middle of the board to go fight over B, but the torpedoes forced him to back off farther than he wanted.
Yeah, I would definitely say that. He's got his Hydra going. Of course, he doesn't want to take any torpedoes. But you also don't want to take your high-value target, Schlieffen, and charge a destroyer that's not detected. Somebody like A is good enough to not let himself be detected from that tripwire radar from the Yu Yang.
Indeed.
So,
Chris continuing to play a very dangerous game, trying to contest B versus Megazal's Plymouth radar. The radar drives him off there again, but not before he coughs up a few more thousand hit points.
Yeah, he's quite low now,
yeah.
And he is out of heal. What you see is what you get.
QQ7 has built nearly a 200-point lead on their solid cap control here on CZA. In this pivotal Game 3, Buenos Noches not yet able to break up their control, and neither team on a kill yet.
No, we got some deep waters coming into Wolfman's Kremlin.
Seems like the farm boys down south, Don Pato and Jason, looking to farm out this Kremlin, hoping one of these deep waters will land, and one of them looks like it might be on target.
I don't think so.
No, you're right. He's found a nice little gap in there. In fact, he's going to retreat back into this smoke that the daring is left for him.
It's very smoke, so it's not going to last long, but
a little bit helps.
Can't help. Yes. Ooh, Nab goes down on the other flank.
Oh, that's a huge kill for QQ7. Although they've almost got Special K off the board. On 55 health is K. He cannot afford to get spotted for any reason. A secondary shell, gray one, could knock him out. Firing. He knows how low he is. QQ7 now 70 seconds from a win here in Game 3. Up a ship, up on caps. Buenos Noches desperately needing to get this into a cap or bag a kill. Slow things down and give them some time. There they go, on to B. Now this Napoli is about to get cross-torp. That's Manco over on the 8 line. There's just too many torpedoes coming in. I cannot imagine a world where he can dodge all of them. Looks like he's going to take at least one gearing torpedo.
Oh, he
ended up blundering. He ended up taking 2 gearings and a Shimakaze torpedo.
Oh, and he's turned into possibly the next salvo.
He might have turned into the Napoli torpedoes as he's burning and flooding.
He's healing. He's trying to heal through the...
He's trying to heal through it.
It's 40 seconds until his DCP's...
He's not going to survive that. There's no way. His heel's going to quit here shortly.
Look at Rainmaker, by the way, coming into B now, trying to break up that group by Megazao.
Well, and BN does flip the B cap. That gives them a little more breathing room. But again, we're still 70 seconds here from a win. Manco's lit now on 6,000 hit points. Yeah. If QQ7 can bag that kill, that should end the game.
Still flooding, if I recall.
Schlieffen shells, Pole from Polarberg now looking for that kill. Maverick's Napoli shells looking for it. Maverick lands some. Polarberg
1,000.
Polarberg also getting low. Buenos Noches feels like they took maybe a little too long to get this organized. 40 seconds on the timer. Rainmaker driving it. No, he's pulling up on the torpedoes. He'll be okay there on the south end of B.
Mako's going to go down right here.
Mako goes. That's the game. There it is.
Give up
Wow,
nothing.
just a textbook
flawless
game for
victory you see there for
QQ7.
QQ7.
That's
No
right.
ships lost. Well played to both teams. But QQ will be moving on to the top 4 as Buenos Noches will fall down to the losers bracket.
That's right. Very strong game by both teams, but I mean, you saw the ability of QQ7 to not fall into Buenos Noches' traps.
Yeah.
There were several traps that they tried to set for specifically
Yep.
QQ7's destroyers, and in both cases, I mean, they pulled away. K with
didn't work.
55 hit points.
55 hit points for
55
K
hit
at the end. Still manages to not die. Unbelievable.
Outstanding.
54 more than he needed. 54 more than he needed. An amazing series from both of these teams. That was a pleasure casting that. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
So we will be. I think the losers bracket is next on the schedule. I'm not sure what we'll be showing. So give us a few minutes to get organized. In the meantime, let's send you guys back to the studio and see what Boggsy and Sconce thought of that particular match.